We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop. So to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop. And we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. One word that tends to go hand in hand with narcissism is vanity. And when you think of a vain person or someone who's caught up in their vanity, we're talking about someone who has a great deal of conceit. They're very self-impressed. They have a real strong sense of entitlement. They're very prideful in an egotistical kind of way. Do you know who I am? You should, that kind of thinking. I want to go through 10 primary indicators of these narcissists and how they live with vanity pushing them along. Now, with the overt narcissists, this can be so obvious that you can hardly miss it. But even with covert narcissists, you may not see it right away up front, but over time, as you get to know them, you realize they really do have that real haughty and self-impressed attitude that you just don't see it quite so much as you're beginning to get to know them. The first thing that we can talk about that implies vanity narcissism is these individuals expect special treatment. If someone comes along and they want to do you a favor, or they want to do something that says they're really appreciative toward you, that can be a really nice thing. It's like, wow, thank you for being so good to me. With the narcissist, though, it's like, well, it's about time. What else are you going to do for me? And they want to make sure that they are known as the one who's extra distinct. They want you to do them extra favors. They want to have the best seat in the house, so to speak. And they don't want to have to do all of the grunge work that the little people have to do, like, menial chores, or they don't want to be around people who have struggled. They don't want to be known as being someone who's had those kind of problems. A second indicator of their vanity is that they have little difficulty drawing attention to their achievements or accomplishments. In conversation, they have easy ways of trying to slip it in. Yeah, I did this, or I know these people, or, oh yeah, I'm going to this very expensive restaurant, or I've been on this fine vacation, and they want you to know, I'm a somebody, I've done a whole lot, I'm around very important people. Get to know me, and you're going to be pretty impressed with all the things that I've done and who I know and where I've been and what kind of activities I've been associated with. They like drawing attention to something like that. In addition, number 3, they can be very strongly drawn towards superficial signs of success. It's like, well, if you're extra beautiful, and so then that means you're somebody. So they put way too much emphasis on appearance and things like that. And again, having a desire to appear, pleasant or pleasing, that's okay, but they take it to an extra measure. They want to have the nicest cars. They want to have the nicest clothes. They want to be seen in the beautiful places, and they want to be around the beautiful people. They're drawn towards all sorts of themes of glitter and glitz and glamour and things like that. They like the showboat kind of stuff. They're very impressed by those kind of signals. Now, in addition, number 4, when they do attempt to do something that might give the appearance of goodness or helpfulness or even humility, they want to make sure that other people notice that, which then kind of ruins the whole thing. Did somebody get a picture of that? Or let's make sure that we get this in our next newsletter, things like that. And so their acts of decency don't really match pitch with their overall persona. It's kind of like, somebody doing a construction project wearing their fine clothes, something like that. They want to give the appearance that they're into that, but really it's just for show. Or a 5th indicator of their vanity. They can feel very strongly slighted or very strongly offended when they have been slighted. For example, if you seem to be pretty unimpressed with them, or you don't recognize them, or somehow or another someone came along and dismissed them, it's kind of like, do you know who I am? And do you know all the great things that I've done? And I'm getting what now? And it's like, nobody treats me this way, as opposed to thinking, sometimes things just don't go the way that I'd like. No, they're very slight. They're very easily offended when somebody doesn't recognize them as being the high and lofty person that they think they are. Or a sixth indicator, and that is they can hardly ever feel content or appreciative for the things that they already have. Words like enough, or gratitude, or adequate just don't really seem to be a part of what they are. It's like, no, I don't want something that's adequate. I want something that's better than that. Or if enough, well, that wasn't enough. I want more. That's one of their favorite words. And as a result, they can be very critical. They can be very demanding. They can come across as very idealistic regarding what they want. They just can't be satisfied. They can't be content with whatever it is that they have in front of them. In addition, number 7, these individuals can be oblivious or impervious to others' reactions to their haughtiness. It's like if somebody says, hey, I think this person was a little offended over here. It's like, I don't care. Or it's like, well, don't you think we need to include these people over here? I think they're struggling. It's like, no, not today. And they just don't have a real empathetic understanding or care or concern for the needs of others. And again, they might try to show it from time to time, but deep down, it's like, I'm just not all that deeply touched by the needs and the hurts and the struggles that other people have. You know, the old let them eat cake kind of thing. Or an 8th indicator, and that is they absolutely cannot tolerate their flaws or neediness or inadequacies to be exposed. One word that scares them to death is the word vulnerability. They don't want to be vulnerable. We're not going to talk about my problems. We can talk about yours all day long, but I don't want you to talk about the things in me that you seem to think are less than adequate. Or if they have had some failures, it's like, well, why don't we just move on to a different subject? And they don't want to be identified with anything other than the wonderful side of life. A 9th indicator, and that is they are almost completely incapable of receiving direction or advice. It's like, why would I need to listen to you? You know who I am. This is me talking. I know so much more than you do. And as a result, then they can just be the kind of individuals that are not really good team players. In fact, one of the things that I say is two of the most dangerous words that people can speak are the words, I know. Obviously, it's good to know things, but when the narcissist in their haughtiness says, I know, what they mean is, shut up, don't tell me anything. That's where they're coming from. And then a 10th indicator, and that is they can be easily triggered into anger and defensiveness. If you dare say or do something that goes against their grid, it's like, we don't do this. And they can come on really strong with their harshness. They can come on very strong even with rage, or they can go into shutdown mode, or they can hold grudges and hold you in contempt. If you say, hey, look, there's something I'd like for you to consider, they throw up their real strong walls of defense. It's like, again, you don't know who you're dealing with here. This is me, I'm special. So they have all of these indicators that imply their vanity, their conceit, and their sense of egotism. I want to put a little bit of a different perspective on that word vanity. There's actually an alternate definition of vanity. When we talk about this kind of vanity, there are some things that we say are vain, and what we mean is it's fruitless, it's pointless. It's useless. It's, when we say, well, I can make this effort in vain, it's going nowhere. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. We can see that these narcissists who are caught up in this vanity that I just described are also guilty of vanity in this other way. That it's a pointless way of life. On this channel, we call ourselves the survivors of narcissism, surviving narcissism. And by that, I mean, we see what it is, but we know that we can do so much better. And I'm hoping that instead of the vanity element of the conceit that they get caught up in, we can emphasize other ingredients like kindness or helpfulness, being tuned in to one another, having the ability to feel truly content, being okay with simplicity, and showing a certain amount of personal restraint in the way that you engage with people, having gratitude, being modest, being disciplined, and when I say disciplined, the classical sense is you're teachable, but also being flexible, being empathetic, or being caring. Those are the words that would be very much the opposite of this vanity that they can get caught up in. I want you to join me on Team Healthy. Remember, I say Dr. C, DRC stands for dignity, respect, and civility. And let's use those kind of characteristics as a grid that we filter ourselves in our lives through so that we don't get caught up in any kind of harsh, egotistical pride, and that we can honestly say, you know, we're all in this together. We all have our humanity. I want to know you at your place of humanness, and I want you to know me at my place of humanity. When we can do that, that's when we're going to be most cleanly positioned to have relationships that truly are meaningful and have the depth that you would want to have. Let's stay away from the vanity. It's ultimately, it's fluff. And to say nothing of the fact that it's also very demeaning toward individuals. We don't need to go in that direction. I hope that videos such as this give you some good things to think about. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button and then the bell that goes along with it so you can receive notifications for more videos that come along. If you have a need for counseling, I know that many of you who have to engage with people who struggle with this, it dredges up all sorts of difficulties. I would encourage you to seek out someone in your area that could help you. Or if you would prefer, if you don't have the availability of someone right there in front of you, we have a link below with a sponsor that can help you with online counseling. And right now that's very popular. And so if the need presents itself, I would encourage you to go to that link and get the help that you would deserve. In addition, I'm hopeful that you also are aware of our courses. We have my free to be course. We have other new ones that are about to be released, our webinars and things of that nature. We have links to our books, etc. And so we have plenty of resources there for you. The narcissist, very conceited, very stuck on who they are and their own self-importance. But I'm hoping you can realize that your importance is found in your sense of goodness and decency toward other individuals. And as you commit yourself to those kind of characteristics, that's when you have steadiness in your life, you have true influence, and you understand the nature of love, and you're able to find peace. Let's move in that direction together.